We are live.
Yeah, just give them 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh wait, what was the whole issue that you were telling me with the echo?
I don't. It's because of the mic. It's the mic is close to the earphone, so for some reason. So it's like, ugh.
Just don't have it loud.
Yeah, no, and I do that though because hold on, let me see. Speak.
Like if you have to, just like if you're able to, have it completely muted.
You have it completely muted. What do you mean by that?
Like just
No, can you,
have it completely silent
no.
so my voice isn't playing from there.
Oh yeah.
Like, does PlayStation have the same option as Xbox to be able to broadcast the voices
I'm
to
not sure.
your headphones and the speaker?
I'm not sure. What about now? Can you hear echo still?
So let me
Yeah, I'm going.
do
I'm going in.
check the
Hold on.
real quick. Check.
Oh wow, no, you weren't outgoing. Okay. Yeah. Uh-oh. I think Don. Where'd Don go?
I'm right here.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I have myself muted
Oh, okay. Yeah,
just so I can be able to hear myself without having it play through the speakers, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, from what I heard, you don't. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I'm on the live chat right now, just in case if anything goes on. Alrighty.
All right.
Okay, so quick introduction here. This is Atlas Amplified Podcast. Everyone that says anything will be out of character. If it offends you, do not put it on the show. This is where somewhere that anyone can say anything free to say or whatever they want. So, here we go. Let's continue right here. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Zach Sanchez, and we have a very special guest here. He is, well, the founder of Atlas, and definitely was one of the former boss of XGen. Here is Don Frost. Don, what's going on?
What's up? It's
Nice.
been it's been quite a while since I've actually, gotten to have like a real chat with the whole community and all that.
Yeah, it has been a while. And, ladies and gentlemen, reasons why I'm using this WTX thing is because I do not have any photo of Chris Midas, so I thought this was a good one right here.
Yeah, he's a jerk like that. He just hates me so much, guys.
Nah, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I despise you. No, I'm kidding.
That's fine, dude.
so, so I gotta ask you, how does it feel like, since now you have, it's been like, what, almost close to 3 or 4 weeks that you haven't done, X-Gen. Now,
Nearly
how
a
does,
whole month.
or a whole month, yeah. Um, I don't know, how does it feel like not doing all that anymore? And you're moving on, like, to college and everything.
Well, and I'm not trying to say this in a negative way. It honestly feels like a huge weight was just like lifted off of me because I've had, like, I loved doing action, don't get me wrong, it was really fun. It's just like the fact that when you're doing all this, when you're trying to run a show, the
Mm-hmm.
biggest issue that you have is trying to make everyone happy because you're not able to actually do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you're always going to be hearing people like complaining a lot. You're gonna be hearing people get pissed off that this happened or they didn't debut yet, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I totally understand that because when it comes to Amplified, I get a lot of questions. Oh, when am I going to debut? When's this? When's that? And when I try to like try to because when I'm doing this when I'm doing this type of thing, I like to plan first, then doing. That's why I don't do Twitch anymore. That's why it's YouTube now. I like to
Yeah,
plan things. Yeah,
yeah.
because I
Every
like
time
to.
I've done X Gen,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that some people may already know this, and most people don't. But whenever I was doing the shows, like just like the house show events, the regular events, all the booking done on there, all the matches that are happening,
Mhm.
they're all on the spot. I
Right.
never pre-plan any of my matches unless it just adds to a storyline or something.
Mhm.
Other than that, the only pre-booked shows are the pay-per-views.
Now, explain to me, how, what made you the idea of doing Atlas? Like, what came up to mind on that?
Well, um, like a whole year ago, I that's when I ended up joining the community. I went to a stream once, and it just had these couple guys just having their own cause, facing off against each other, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, this seems pretty cool. So I type in chat, hey, like, how do I join? And they tell me about it, and I end up joining a party with them later, and I just, talk to them about everything and all that,
Mhm.
and they're pretty much telling me how they book the shows, how they run the thing, and I decided, oh, I'll try and run my own company, and that's when I made a company called UWF,
Mhm.
and I like back then I didn't really know about much about the community. I ended up promoting in the guy's chat, which he was really chill about it. He actually also told people to check out my company because it was brand new. I was brand new to the community.
Right.
He wasn't mad or anything. He was really chill. I don't talk to the guy anymore because of certain reasons that I'm not going to mention.
Mhm. Which
Um,
which is totally fine.
but then UWF was a little bit controversial, like the with the way I booked things. And just keep in mind, all this was when I basically had no experience at all.
Right.
I didn't
What?
know how to
Mhm.
run the show. I ended up booking my own characters to in the main events and all that, and people did get pretty mad about that.
Mhm.
And at some point, I decided to shut UWF down, and I was thinking about um, bringing it back to make it like a special show, like a news show called WZW, but that never took off.
Right.
It just never happens.
Mhm.
Um, I also had I also had a couple ideas in mind, and there was a huge idea that I had
Mhm.
making like doing our own thing in other areas. We were originally under matches, so if that was never patched, then Lush would never have existed. It would have just been Atlas, but there would have been a women's division
Right.
that would have also fought with the guys.
Right. 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 Now, hold on a second. I think right now we're just having a little difficulty with the live stream going on right now. So let's give it a minute real quick. Hold on. Yeah, but we have well, I see that somebody in the chat just put a guy named Dominic Holmes. He puts, what about CCW and all that other stuff?
Ah, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people know the company as CWA now, but you know, back then, though, the company that I did join, it was once called TWA, and it was run by a different guy other than James Kelly.
Yeah,
James
that I
Kelly,
heard of. Yeah.
he ran the developmental brands known, and it was known as NGW or Next Gen Wrestling or something like that. I don't really know. I don't really know what it stood for. All I
Okay.
know is that it was called NGW, and it was a developmental company for TWA, which then turned into CCW when James Kelly started to take over after some pretty controversial stuff that the original owner did. Like I said, I'm not going to get into that now. All I'm going to say is that it was extremely controversial.
Mhm.
And um, when CCW happened, I was still in the company and I really much enjoyed it. It was extremely fun to do. And that was actually where I had won my very first championship, which was the CCW United States Championship.
Okay.
And it wasn't just like, oh, this is my first title, this is my first title, yeah, 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 yeah. It was,
It was like a mid
I
card
held
title
on
type
to
of
that
thing.
title for quite some time. Um, and then later on, later on, I started to like notice a couple of things going on with the booking and all that, and I don't really remember who was booking the shows at the time, but there was a lot of strange stuff happening for like Dawn and Nicole, like Nicole, not really Nicole, but originally I was the owner of Nicole. I made it as a sort of little surprise for my girlfriend.
Mhm.
Like she knew that I loved wrestling and I loved video games, so I decided, hey, I'm going to make something for her. So I ended up trying my best to make her in the video game.
I do remember you showing me a
And
picture of her the first time, and I was
yeah,
like,
it
"Whoa, like
back
that's
then
totally different."
back then I wasn't exactly really good with creating wrestlers, so she didn't look the best. But then I also decided, oh, I'll enter her in NGW. I'll talk to the guys about it. Like I'll tell them it's not necessarily my character, it's my girlfriend's character.
Mhm.
But I'm still going to like do her promos and all that. So then they were like, okay, we can do that. And she ended up becoming the women's champion, or at the time, the bombshell champion.
Mhm.
I mean, no, not the bombshell champion. That's a different company. The knockouts champion at the first ever Olympus event. And I retained the United States title in record time. But then the next night, I got extremely confused because um, I well actually I should probably talk about something else before that.
Okay.
Before that, I I was convinced to defend my title on the 50th episode of CCW, and I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds awesome. So we do it. I got to choose my opponent. I got to choose stipulation. I lost, which that's totally fine. Some people were saying it's because I uploaded a new tire and my momentum reset, blah blah blah. I didn't care. I knew I had a rematch, and I said I'm gonna use my rematch at Rule the Ring.
Mhm.
And apparently they have a number one contenders match. I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, what is going on? Like,
Mhm.
apparently they decided to have a number one contenders match and gave the number one contendership to one of their friends. And I was like, what about me? I said I was going to use my rematch. And they said, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
saving you. We're going to save you a rematch instead. And you're just going to be in this match in a triple threat. I'm like,
Now,
are you
okay,
serious? That's
how?
not what I
Oh.
agreed to. So then later on, we go to I lose that Rule the Ring. I got pinned and they retained, but confines came around and I won back the title in my actual rematch. And then Olympus, I retain in again in record time. And then the night afterwards, for some reason, I get booked in a triple threat to try and defend my title. And I'm
Mm.
like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Why? I lose the title, and that's when I'm starting to get a bit mad. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just hold off on my rematch. I'll use my rematch. Um, I'll use my rematch at the pay-per-view.
Right.
And apparently the next night, like I'm at work, I head back home, and Naomi, she texts me, "Oh, I guess we lost all our matches today. Me and Zoe lost our tag team match, and you lost your rematch." And I'm like, "Oh, that's whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a minute, my rematch? What? What are you talking about?" And
Whoa.
she was like, "You used your rematch tonight." I'm like, no, I didn't." And apparently they took my rematch and like they said we need a title match tonight. Like we want to have a title match tonight. So the only title match that they could think of was my rematch, and they never talked to me about it. They never consulted me about any of this.
Mm-mm.
They literally just booked the match. They didn't talk to me about it beforehand. They didn't ask me if that was okay, and that's when I got completely like pissed off at them.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
was
That's that's nothing to
I
be playing
was
around with.
just extremely mad at them because they used my rematch without my permission, without my knowledge. By the way, I lost that rematch and I got extremely ticked off to the point where I almost felt like quitting
Right.
because I did not agree with what they did.
Yeah, because it's
But
like.
fast forward later on,
Mhm.
I'm about to, do WZW. So I'm asking some people, like, hey, you were, like, I know that you were in a huge star in UWF in the past. So I was wondering if you would like to join WZW.
Mhm.
And pretty much every one of them said, yeah, sure, that's totally cool. I liked being in UWF, so I like being in WZW. It should be fun. And James, he he got mad at me for no reason. He was like, "Wait, did any of you get approached by Dawn to join WZW?" And people were like, yeah, I did. What's so wrong with that?" And he's trying to say, "Oh, you can't do that. You should not be accepting offers from companies that approach you. You should be approaching them, blah blah blah." And I can remember this. Every one of them was literally defending me, saying that they would rather be approached than actually approach the company.
Yeah, because when like if you how can I say Because
like
I've been
they
approaching so
got
many.
like they were starting to get pretty mad at James, and then James he saw that I asked one of his friends if he wanted to join, which his friend turned it down, and I was like, okay, that's fine, dude. And right there, that's when James ended up firing me. And I
Hmm.
was like, why did I get fired? Like, there was no reason to fire me. There was no reason to do any of that. Like, I just feel like
No,
James
it's either.
was looking for an excuse. And then,
Hmm.
like, later on, um, like, fast forward to when I'm about to be setting up Atlas. I was thinking about having a division. No, I was also thinking about having a cruiserweight division.
Right.
I got inspired by it from the Cruiserweight Classic and all that.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a cruiserweight division, and I decided to call it the Next Gen Division,
Hmm.
which I also got inspired to that name from GFW, which I didn't exactly know that GFW had a Next Gen Division. I
Oh
just
wow.
came up with the name. I was like, Next Generation, Next Gen, Next Gen. Ooh, that sounds awesome. So then I find out GFW is also doing that, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, cool. Like a real life company is using that. That's cool. Whatever.
Hmm.
And then I get invited to a party with James and like all the other guys, and James like, Don, what about you doing a cruiserweight division called the Next Gen Division? And I was thinking about doing um, cruiserweight division as well. And I'm like, oh, okay, when did you think of that? And he's trying to say like, oh, I did it when the Cruiserweight Classic was happening, like when it was announced, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, AJ, he's saying Don. He's saying that he's gonna steal the next gen name,
AJ Storm we're
which
talking about,
he
right?
he huh?
AJ Storm that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, like that's pretty much the only other AJ that I'd be referring to. Like
Okay.
not Andy Jaden, because if it was Andy Jaden, I'd just refer to it as Andy. But AJ, he blatantly stated that James was thinking about stealing the next gen name. And I'm like, okay, dude, if you think about taking that name, I'm gonna be extremely ticked off.
Hmm.
And I got ticked off because he basically made the next gen division. And I was like, what the heck, dude, I told you, not like that's not cool. Like, why would you do that? Why did you take that from me? I'm trying to like do that name. Like you can't think of any other names that you could be able to do.
Yeah, because
And then it
I've
wasn't only
been.
that, like he basically took a whole bunch of stuff from Atlas. Like I'm trying to be unique, and then all of a sudden, like if I'm doing one thing, I end up seeing him doing another.
Right. Yeah, because don't get me wrong.
Like I was
I've
looking at it, and
heard.
I was like, what the heck is going on? Why are you like? He's like taking all my ideas. He's pretty much making Atlas like completely not original anymore, and people aren't even
Yeah.
focused on Atlas. People are liking CWA even more.
Yeah,
And
because
he's taking all my ideas, and then you see him having all these online people, which like I don't know how the sim people agreed to join CWA. Like that's not up to me. I'm not going to convince them to leave the company. I'm not going to tell them that or anything. But
now
yeah.
the stealing ideas because I do remember one day that I was on CWA chat and I think I'm not sure. Either I think AJ was saying something that he was saying, oh, that
Oh
Don
yeah,
is.
I remember AJ trying to say that like I took the next gen name when
Yeah, and that's when
a whole, like, I'm not even kidding. A year ago, he even blatantly said it in a party, and there's a bunch of people that actually heard him say it. He said himself that James was stealing the next gen name, and now a few months later, he's trying to defend James, saying that I took the next gen name when that's
yeah,
completely not
and
true at
and
all.
I
Like he's trying to say that I'm taking a whole lot of
and I
things
showed you
when
screenshots
it's the
too
complete
that
opposite.
I showed you screenshots that when they were saying something about you, I'm not sure how. I mean, it was like 2 months ago, maybe, before Extreme was done. Um, I know that I got in it, and I was like, oh, but you won't be saying that to him though. Like you're gonna talk. Here's how I take it, because
Yeah,
if you're gonna talk about
everything that he has said, everything that AJ has said, like a bunch of throw shade at me, and like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's obvious that he's talking about me. Like when I was thinking about doing my own podcast, he's trying to say that I'm stealing his idea of doing a podcast. Like when, like, how in the world am
when
I
were they
taking
ever gonna do a
an
podcast?
idea? Like, how the hell am I making a podcast and you're gonna say that you like? He's basically saying, "Oh no, that's my idea. Podcasts are my idea. You can't do it. Only I can do podcasts." Like, why doesn't he say that to
But I don't
Sean
see him
Nova? Why doesn't
promoting
he
it
say
though.
that to you? Why
That's the
doesn't
thing.
he
He
say that to
never.
anybody that does a podcast?
Yeah,
Like
that's the thing. And he
that
never
was one of
promoted it.
the dumbest tweet. And then he's like, "Oh, it's a good thing. Like it doesn't matter because my podcast is way more important." Like, no,
Yeah.
nobody's podcasts are important. You know.
Right. Well, I think we should move on from this topic before we go all out here. But moving on to the topic. Now, I this is a question for me, and hopefully I don't know if you've been asked this so many times. The character Chris Midas that you made, right? Is he
Yeah.
is, is he inspired to be like Cassius Ono or no?
Yeah. He wanted. I'm a huge, Chris Hero fan, and I decided, hey, I wanted to try and make a new character, but I don't know what I'm gonna base him off of. So I decided to, like kind of look at some people, and then I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Why not my most favorite wrestler out of all of them? So that's when I decided to make Chris Hero.
Mhm.
And at the time, Chris Hero, he wasn't in NXT yet. He didn't return yet or anything.
Mhm.
So I didn't really know what his attire was like that much. Like I couldn't figure out how I should make the attire. So I was just like going off of a lot of things, and I end up listening. Like I end up not listening. I end up looking at some more attires from
Mhm.
Hero. I'm like, okay, I know what I should do now. So I make a small, like, basic version of Chris, and he just had black and gold. He had tights. He had he had knee pads. He had the boots. He had an elbow pad on his right elbow instead of the whole, armband, like
Yeah.
the whole arm sleeve.
Uh huh.
He didn't have the sleeve. He only had a um, elbow pad with a golden dot in the middle, sort of like to represent a target in a way. And he just had the wrist tape. That was how his attire was originally. He
Okay.
didn't have the arm sleeve. The arm sleeve didn't really come into effect until like probably after I left CWA. That's when I started to really think up some new attires for Chris, and then um, um, my friend Lexi, or Isabella Ventura,
Uh huh.
we were chatting with each other. At the time, we actually had Isabella Ventura and Chris Midas together. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can make an attire for him based off like that could have both their names on it. So I talked to
Mhm.
Gameplay Nation. He used to make logos all the time. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm probably going to. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I asked him, hey, could you make like a basketball jersey type of logo? Like it could say, um, like Midas and Ventura with a number 22, which that number has like I'm not going to go into detail about 22, but I'm just going to say that it's a really significant number for me out of character.
Right. Right.
Like
Right. Right.
that's been a really significant number for not only me but my entire family. So
Mhm.
yeah, I always like pretty much nowadays I use that number all the time
Okay. Um.
on anything that I do since I wanted to keep that sort of significance there. And then when Isabella and Chris separated, I started to think of like a new kind of attire that I could do. So then I just decided to check out some logos, like texture things, and I also like saw a really awesome wolf logo, and I was like, oh, geez, this could work so well. Like this could be so good for him. And then I, so then that's pretty much how his attires have been nowadays. Like that's how they always are.
Right. 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 Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go real quick to the UWW account, and we're gonna go ahead and look at the question. If
All right.
Twitter doesn't,
I
Twitter
don't really
wants to be
think there
nice
was that
enough.
many questions, to be honest.
Nah, it had it wasn't much, but I mean, at least what's up? We can see what's up. Okay, so we got one from at One True Psycho, which is of course Psycho G. How's college? Are the feeding you all right? Right. Well, I'm guessing he's asking, are they feeding you right?
But I think it was just like how's college. College is awesome. I love it here. It's a lot more relaxed than high school.
Mhm.
Overall, it's been really, really awesome time. I've absolutely loved it in college. So yeah,
That's
that's pretty much all I gotta say about that.
all right. Goat, basically Anthony Harris. um, all he said was me. Of course. Anyways, we're gonna move on to that one. We got real real blackjack. Who am I?
Blackjack.
Then we got one from Nicole saying why with the laughing emoji. Okay. Well, really not much. There was only one question there,
Love
but
it too.
whatever.
Love it too, Nay.
um. Now, since now you said that Dawn Frost is retired, now here comes Chris Midas. Now, it's pretty much confirmed that again you're Chris Midas, but you did a voice promo on WTX. You had a very big match for an open challenge.
That was a promo that was recorded before I went to college. Like I was just at my house, nobody was home, so I was like, okay, I guess this is a good time to actually do the promo for WTX since there's not going to be that much background noise or anything like that. So I go on my phone, start recording my voice, and that was pretty much it. It was way before I went to college. He just saved that promo for the right time. I think it was like 2 episodes
Mm-hmm.
before the promo actually happened.
Right. Yeah, because he was on me and Payne. We were on a phone call, and he was like, "I have a question. Did Don start college yet?" I'm like, "Not just yet. Why?" "Oh, that explains it. Because he got that done quick, like nothing." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it was like I don't really think that promo was that tough. he
I
was
thought it
just
was a
like,
good
oh,
storytelling
it's
type of
just
promo.
like he didn't even tell me what I needed to talk about,
Hmm.
so I sort of had to improvise a lot, but I knew like the basis of what I had to talk about and all that. And overall, I think I did pretty well.
Yeah, it was pretty well. Again, you walked in No Chance 5, an open challenge, a mystery opponent, which, aka, I knew who it was. But, you
Screw
come
you.
out, yeah, and it's amplified's own Havoc, and for God's sake, that match was
I was
so awesome.
honestly, I was honestly so happy when I saw that it was Havoc because Havoc is a really good friend. He's an awesome dude. He's been really cool. So when I saw that it was him, I was just like, this is gonna be good. I was just like, yes, I'm fine. I'm like so hyped that I'm gonna be facing him because if it was somebody else, I would have been pretty pissed off
Right.
because not necessarily pissed off. It's just like it just depends on who it could have been.
Who else would it could have been
Cause
instead of Havoc, basically?
I mean there are a couple people that I have in mind. Some I don't like more than others.
Hmm.
Obviously, Havoc is a really awesome dude. If it did like end up being Mills or something, that would have been pretty interesting because
It,
that's a matchup that I would
it,
love
it
to
would have
see.
been. Hmm.
Having Chris versus Mills. That's a huge dream match that I would love.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, that would be. It would be an awesome match, but sadly, again, it didn't happen. Sadly, as how much we really want that would be a really great match to happen, but sadly, though that which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt bad too for this, because me, Payne, and Mills we were the main event, which was the Wicked Kingdom versus
yeah,
the Hunter family.
and that's totally fine. I don't mind. Like I'm pretty sure the match is bound to happen one day.
Yeah.
Like they're they're in the same company.
Hmm.
It's gonna happen at some point. It has to happen at some point.
Now the only
But
thing, uh huh, the only thing,
they did say like a new signee, a huge new signee, and I was like, okay, this is kind of risky because I don't know who it's going to be. So like there was like a whole bunch of possibilities were going through my mind. And Havoc surprisingly wasn't one of them. I was thinking people like, like maybe Marty Michaels, Joey Gallagher, maybe even James Kelly, AJ Storm, William Mercer. 'Cause Mercer,
oh
he's
my gosh,
been a really awesome dude.
I would, oh my
If it was
gosh.
Mercer, that one I would have legit just completely marked out because he is one of my favorites to
You know
watch. But
what? I have to recommend Payne getting Liam Mercer because, holy crap, that guy. I mean, I didn't know nothing about him until like when I met him in the Discord thing for Honorbound.
yeah, he's a really chill dude. Like
He's
at
chill.
first, the first time I saw him, first time I noticed him, he tweeted out something like a bit negative towards Atlas, and it was in character, but I just like sort of tweeted like DM'd him about it, and I was like, okay, I feel like I need to explain this to you, and he's like, no, dude, it's okay, I'm in character, don't worry. And then that's the only time we've actually talked to each other was that point.
Hmm.
But then later on, we started to talk to each other a lot more. I got to know him better, and he was a really awesome dude. And there was also this one point where I had I wanted to have a big surprise for Ultimate Night. I wanted to have a whole bunch of surprises at Ultimate Night for Atlas since that was going to be one of the biggest events, which it ended up being the biggest event that Atlas has ever held. It was huge, it was massive, and I wanted to have a big surprise.
Hmm.
Well, a couple of big surprises, which there was. But I talked to Mercer about it. I go up to Mercer. I'm like, hey, dude, I was thinking, or it might have been Mercer that approached me. Either way, we talked about it, and he agreed to be on the show.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, just one thing, don't talk, don't say this to anyone, even Nay. Like, and I was like, oh, geez, I can't even tell Nay. Wow, this is gonna be really tough. Like, I wanted to tell other people about it, but I was like, no, it's going to tick him off. I know him. I know how he is. He would be extremely pissed off if I told somebody
Yeah, that's
and he
how.
found out about it.
That reminds me
So
of me.
I
So,
kept my mouth shut. I kept my lips sealed. I threw a lot of people off. Like, people were going like, "Oh, who could it be? Who could it be? It's probably this guy." And I'm like, "Oh, no, no, don't worry, don't worry. I'm not gonna tell you." And then apparently at some point, somebody actually said, "Watch it be William Mercer." Like, it's probably William Mercer. And then Mercer, he's like, dude, like he was in the party with that person. I think it was AJ that was actually saying that it could have been Mercer. So then Mercer, he's like, dude, you realize it could be anybody, right? It doesn't have to be just be me. Like, there's a lot of people that are in Atlas. And he's like, oh yeah, true, true. Like, he
that
completely
threw him
threw
off.
AJ off. Like, so Nay and Joey actually thought it was going to be Logan Hale because I did tell Nay that Logan Hale was going to be returning, but I don't know when. Like, we haven't really
And
decided when
speaking of
he's going to return.
speaking about
So
Logan Hale, I don't.
Nicole thought it was going to be Logan Hale. Hang on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So then when Mercer actually showed up, that's when everybody freaked out. Nobody expected him. Nobody had any sort of clue. I kept my mouth shut. And apparently Mercer actually told me that that was actually a test. He was testing my trust.
Mhm.
Like, he wanted to see if he can actually trust me, which I proved myself. He trusted me. He had a lot of faith in me, so he stayed with the company and everything. And that was it. Like, his appearance in Ultimate Night was pretty significant because that was the last place that Mercer ended up using his, like, a finisher that he's been using for a long time. Like, it was the Duck Killer, the Oscar lock, the crossface chicken wing move.
Yep.
He called it the Duck Killer. It's been one of the top moves that he's done as Mercer. It was a submission move. And submission moves got banned as signatures and finishers in CWA and COH. So Mercer, he decided that he would have Atlas be the place where he would retire the Duck Killer because Atlas doesn't have submission bans.
Correct.
So, we played, like, he had Mercer show up, and this was the final place where it was going to be the final place where the Duck Killer will be used. So, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, because it feels like I know how it feels because when you get someone that big in a show, it's like, holy crap, like, yeah, but yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from Mercer, because I didn't know nothing about him again until Honor Bound. Uh, so far, what if I've seen is I have to say one of I don't want to say greatest because it's not a word, but one of the best wrestlers out there in the call community. I can say.
Yeah.
But
He's definitely one of the coolest guys that you can meet.
yeah. Now.
Like, I wouldn't necessarily say, like, he's, like, a locker room leader. But, like, in some companies, he's definitely, like, the locker room leader. Like, he leads the place. He helps keep the place under control. Like I said, I wouldn't really say that about every place, because some places, it's just, like, he's there. He's one of the top guys, but he's not a leader there. But most of the time, he definitely helps keep the place, like, in check and everything.
Right. Um, Now moving on, fast forwarding. Now I'm just gonna point this out to people. Amplified was not my idea at first. Um, so Don, you want to go ahead and explain what made you wanted to do the Amplified show?
Um, I was I was really thinking about this I was thinking about this company that I wanted to hang on a sec.
Trying to find your words.
I was thinking about like a way that I could be able to try and maybe maybe try and have a company that I'm oh my god. I gotta think about this for a second. I'm like
No,
throwing
take your
myself
time.
off a lot. Um, I wanted to try and make sure that um, Atlas was as unique as it could be.
Yes.
Like especially with UWW. Like UWW was built to help a bunch of companies be completely unique and everything. So that is when I decided to maybe give you the idea of like, oh, hey, like it was just something I was thinking about. Like I would want to maybe try and do a special show on PS4 for Atlas.
Right.
And that's when you were like, oh yeah, we could definitely do that. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? I never actually expected you to say yes at all. Like it was just an idea that I was just giving out, and you were completely cool about it. And I was like, all right, well, we could definitely try that. Like we'll get some logos done. We'll talk about it with some other people, and we'll try and do this. And it ended up being a massive success. Like so many
And
people wanted to actually join because I knew that there was a ton of people that wanted to join on the PS4 side, but they couldn't be able to join since they were, like I said, they were on PS4.
I'm gonna say what was my reason why I quickly said yes. Um, before before I met you, Nicole, well, Nay, and everyone else from the Xbox side, I was just I was just one man and one EFED. I was just in WTX before WTX was in the Elgato editing and all that. And what happened was that when we finally made it to Elgato, we were getting a decent amount of people that were starting to join. And when me and Payne were in a podcast, me and him were in a podcast one time. It's on his YouTube channel too. I was like, oh, what if WTX makes its own developmental show for PS4? It was, it, I was gonna do that, but when I was like so busy in that school year, it was not even funny. That I had to tell Payne, I can't do this. This is too much. I don't know the graphic work. I don't know any of that. Okay. Well, we'll figure something out whenever we can. Just you want to cancel it for now and see what's up? I said, yeah. I'm just gonna cancel it. We canceled it, and it felt bad because a lot of people joined it, including Donald himself joined it, and he's never done at that time he never done EFED. Um, but now like months later, when you ask and it's summer vacation too, I'm like, holy crap, I got nothing to do, so might as well do this. But that was my reason why I accepted, and I felt, and you felt the same way with the PS4 people that are on the PS4 side. Like when we finally did it, the goal was for me for Amplified is to get those unknown people known for what they do. Heck, I mean because
Yeah, and a whole bunch of people ended up, showing up to the podcast. It's not the podcast. It's a whole bunch of people ended up wanting to sign up to Amplify, and I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing. Like
yeah,
so many people wanted to join,
and the thing is,
and at the time it was like XGen was struggling to try and find people to actually sign. Like there wasn't like we were trying to find people to sign up,
mm,
and Lush had the issue that they had a lot of people,
mhm,
but literally none of them are active.
yeah, yeah,
And Atlas had the problem that we did have active people, but we did have active people, but there wasn't a lot.
right. But the amount, um, the amount of people. I got up so because I had to get my charger, so my headphones might be
That's fine.
yeah, they might be
That's
like
fine.
messing up a little bit. So hold on.
No worries, dude.
Okay. Um, hold on, cause my phone's on 3% and it's not good. Okay. Say something real quick so I know. Alright,
Yeah,
try.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hear me. You
Alright,
can hear
now
me, right?
now I can hear you. Yeah, cause these headphones they're like loosen up. They're like they're sensitive. So sometimes I can't hear anything.
That's fine.
Okay. So yeah. Yeah, it was crazy the amount of people that joined too, and I talked to Donald about it. I mean, Donald, he was he was in EFED, which he was in IIW, which again, no offense to like I don't want to bring out heat. I didn't like IIW that much. Why? It was because entrances were happening, but there were no theme songs at all, none, and I don't know. It's just something about it. And Donald didn't seem too happy with it too. So I told him, listen, I'm making my own show. Do you want to join? He was like, oh, you're not gonna cancel like Next Level, aren't you? And I'm like, no, this is gonna be a legit show. And he's like, screw it, why not? I'm gonna try. Then I try. Then even because people like CJ Black, Crimson Cade, Ryan Matrix, who else? Kirabara. Those guys, they are online players. Like they have never done EFED ever in their whole entire life.
Yeah.
But once they first joined Amplified and they saw what they can do on how they
Amplified.
thought
It's
to do.
like it gives people like that little comfortable
Feeling like
like
holy crap,
transition. Like they and the best part, just because like they're online people, it doesn't mean that we're gonna push them for a title.
right. And the crazy thing is,
Like we don't we don't push people to win a title no matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're like a sim person or anything like that. It's an even playing field for everybody.
and it's crazy that the fact that when we were like we did the tournament was actually getting a good amount of views. But once we said that Inception was gonna happen, and I did the poster for it, and I didn't do a trailer, sadly. I didn't do a trailer at that time. But once I said Inception was gonna do it, some people were interested. They're like, oh, why not? But once we released Inception, holy crap! The amount of views, the amount of people that watched it and enjoyed it was just crazy.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people just loved it. It's awesome.
And yeah, but, what was I gonna say? Reasons why, again, I do things on the YouTube with Amplified is plan everything. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this guy's gonna win, this guy's gonna lose. No, that I let the CPU do its thing, and whatever happens, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's think of the outcome right here. Kuro does this, Pain does this, for example, um, and it leads to a feud or something, like from the creative video. Now, the other thing that was a hard thing was to get the crowd noise whenever like I'm talking or whenever the superstars of Amplified are talking, because we don't want to hear just silence of okay, we're listening to what they're saying, but there's no excitement to it. But yeah, and it's crazy. It's so crazy the amount of people. Holy crap! Like we gained like 30. Like I don't. I think we went more than 30 now, but we gained a lot of superstars. Um, that joined Amplified. Now, sadly, we just won because one was very upset on his loss on Last Rites, which was Ivan Maverick. Um, which is sad.
Yeah, it's not
I
our
can't do
fault.
nothing for
Not
that.
our fault if
Yeah,
like your character loses. It's just how the game is, dude.
yeah. No, the thing was because he thought well, he was mad that he lost or whatever, and I texted the guy. I mean, he texted me. He said, "Oh, that I lost my match or whatever," and I told him. I said, "What are you doing?" Because I did the same thing what Peyton did. Watch the whole thing so people don't know spoilers and you don't know what's gonna happen. And I told Ivan, I said, didn't I just tell you not to do this? And he said, no, I don't care. F the rules on that. You didn't use my attire, or you didn't use the right attire thing for me. And I said, dude, that was the only thing that was up on CC. And I'm not lying to you, it was actually the only thing he had up. So he got mad when he lost to Kyle Blaze, and he left. He was like, you know what? No, I'm tired. Your company sucks. I'm gone. Hey, I mean, listen. If the company sucked, there would be there would be no 184 subscribers that we have right now, because we went from 150 subscribers to 180 because of people joining Amplified. Now,
I wasn't able to hear it that much. Hey,
what
your
happened?
mic was cutting out. Your mic was cutting out. I couldn't hear you that well.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, but again, we want if Amplified sucked, we wouldn't have gone from 150 subscribers to 180 throughout the whole summer that we had. But again, now moving on, because if people leave, of course I'm gonna give them a second chance. They're gonna have open arms. They're always gonna come back. Now, if you do something stupid, then no, of course you're not gonna come back. But yeah, and it's great. It's great too that Amplified gives superstars that again that have never won titles and actually become champion. Uh, uh, I don't know. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you said something.
I
I
was
think
just
I
like,
think something
I
cut
was
out.
waiting.
Oh, yeah. But
Hang on, let me check my mic.
okay.
Alright, never mind, never mind. We're good.
Okay. All right. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna say it just one more time because I don't know if you said something after that. People who never became a who never became a champion or main evented, Amplified provided that. We made people like Eli Robledo. Eli never main evented, but he finally got a title. Omar Osborne never main evented. He never did EFED for crying out loud, and his call was already OP at what he did. Main evented, got the title. And third Crimson, he's done EFED for AOA and all that. Never won any title. Now he won Amplified Global Championship. which it's crazy. Um, but yeah, I think, but yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it here. So Don, or whatever, Don, do you have anything else do you want to say?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay,
You know,
so
thanks for having me on the show.
of course, um, have you heard car? If guys, if you heard cars and everything outside, I'm so sorry. Like this is just part of the neighborhood where I live. But yeah. But what can you do? You can't do nothing. But all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining the podcast, and hopefully now that the next podcast will be with CJ Black, and we will see you guys later. I'm trying to stop it.